hint of like herb in there, but nothing too overpowering. Not like some of the ones I've had with hibiscus in it.
No, it's subtle. It's in the background. Maybe I don't know if I'm searching. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of a hint of the pepper. There's certainly no warmth.
No, there's none of that warmth at the back of your throat. You get some of those like the chili stouts, the chili porters we've had.
I'm assuming by pepper it's white pepper.
It's white pepper
rather than chili pepper.
Yeah. Didn't they say, because white pepper was one of the things that's always used to be on the table in Ireland. I'm sure that's what someone said when we were over at Alltech.
Oh, okay.
White pepper, and I certainly used to have white pepper at home all the time.
Okay, so it's more of a traditional thing, yeah?
I think white pepper's a bit of a throwback to people remembering when they were younger, and white pepper was the one on the table with the salt rather than black pepper, which is the on vogue trend.
I would in cooking. I would always tend to use black pepper more in cooking for seasoning, rather than actually have it on the table. But I was brought up with like there was always white pepper on our table.
Yeah, so I think, and maybe it's actually more subtle than either black pepper or what's presumably used most of the time is some form of chili pepper, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, despite what it says on the label, the sage and pepper are very much in the background, and what sits at the front there is a very solid, traditional saison.
Almost, there's a little bit of fruit as well there.
Yeah.
So what have we got then, Steve?
This is Sergeant Pepper from Metalman, and this is the Irish Beer Report. And this month we're featuring Metalman Brewing, who are from... checks his notes, from Waterford in Ireland. So first beer we're drinking this evening is, as I say, it's called Sergeant Pepper, and it is a sage and pepper saison, which we've just been describing.
Yeah, which we were a little bit nervous about. I think it's fair to say.
Just a little bit, yeah.
It's 4.8%. So it says so they've gone for the Sergeant Pepper as it's the 50th anniversary this year of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. And they start off on the side of the can saying, "So let me introduce to you the one and only Sergeant Pepper, Sage White Pepper Saison." So a little nod to the opening words of the song. A light and fruity saison gently combined with herbal and savoury notes from sage and white pepper. I'd say it's a fairly accurate description of what we've been saying.
I think that description is bang on. That's exactly what you get in your glass. I mean, it's a lovely sort of light golden colour.
It's a very summery colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Summery colour of beer.
Nice head. Nice level of carbonation as well. The carbonation is quite soft on it.
Yeah, and speaking of softness, the aroma and the flavour, the things that may make people a bit nervous, they start to soften up as well.
Yeah, that's actually, as I say, I was really, really worried about this because it had all the words that I fear in a beer on the label.
Just needed to add the word gin on the front as well.
Yeah, and that would have been perfect. that would have set me off. But no, I'm quite happy with that. You could quite happily on a nice summer afternoon, maybe while you stood over the barbecue, easily have a couple of those.
Watching Clayton.
Okay, yeah, while you're watching somebody else cook cook meat, because obviously
we can't anymore.
Having seen that man cook meat, we can never
do it again.
Ever do it again.
Although that's a good segue, that this is a vegan-friendly beer as well.
Oh, okay. Was that on the label? Did I miss that? Or
that's on the can.
Done some research?
No, I just read the can.
Okay.
I've got adventurous this week.
So you got a little bit further around the can than I did. So a little bit of background about Metalman, so you know who we're featuring this month. As I say, they're based in Waterford, established in 2011 by Grania, who decided that the world of IT wasn't for her anymore and decided she wanted to set up a brewery. So she and her other half, Tim, after travelling, began home brewing, and then from there, Metalman appeared as
Where's
the brewery.
name? Does it say where the name comes from?
It doesn't. I've not been able to find if there's any history.
Because the design on the front of the cans remind me a lot of the Metropolis film from the 1930s.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice design on the front, actually. It does say everything. It's got the name of the brewery, the name of the beer, what type of beer it is, ABV. But I think it's quite a good design. Though it's very Metropolis or old jukebox.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Style.
all of their cans are of a very, very similar style,
Yeah.
and they are one of the breweries in Ireland that are exclusively canning now. I believe.
Oh,
so,
no bottles at all then?
No. So everything that they now do, they became in 2015. They became the first microbrewery in Ireland to package their beers in cans. Today, a number of different beers have been packaged in 330 mils, with plans to release more in the pipelines. So and they do have quite an extensive range as well of beers. So we're trying a couple tonight. They've got some cores, as most breweries do.
Yep.
And they've also got the specials like the Sergeant Pepper that we're trying tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really enjoying this. I'm glad we started with it.
I am actually. I was I was a bit worried about the flavours being too overpowering, but they're just there. They're just in the background.
Yeah. If they were any further forward, I would be struggling now.
Yeah. And if you leave it long enough, and I just found this while I was just going through the history there, I did just begin to get a little bit of heat.
The pepper? Yeah.
Just right at the back of the throat.
Probably just as it maybe starts to warm up a
Just
little
starts to warm, yeah.
But not enough to put you off it.
No, but this is a beer I would drink again.
Yeah.
I would happily go back and drink this one again. We should probably say thank you to, again, the guys from Island Craft Beers for making this show possible. You can check out everything that they do at islandcraftbeers.com. And we should probably check into the second beer that
Well,
we
we
got
might as well.
from Metalman as well. So the second one is simply called Pale Ale, and it's an American style pale ale. So got a pretty good idea of what we're probably going to get from this one.
Ooh. Oh, it's a bit lively.
Oh dear. Nice head on it. Nice big white frothy head. Loads of
Plenty of carbonation in this can.
loads of tight bubbles in there as well. Clear, you can see through it.
Starting point for any beer from Steve.
Some light citrus in there. You're getting
Yeah, I'm also getting a bit of that something from the malt, maybe caramel in the background, but I could be just making that up.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. In case anyone wondering, it's definitely not in the same glass as the.
No, we've definitely made sure we've separated them out. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Let's
Cheers.
enjoy this one.
That's quite creamy, isn't it?
It's creamy. There's maybe a little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of melon, maybe some orange. Really dry finish on it, like long,
very long
lasting-
dry finish. Almost getting towards a pucker
Yeah,
finish. Now, strange enough, just reading that it's not entirely clear, is it? There is a bit of a haze.
a little bit of a hop haze.
There is a bit of a hop haze on this
I'm
one, isn't
okay
there?
with a hop haze.
Okay, just marking
It's
the
when
lines.
when it goes full scale murky that worries me. So we've got Cascade and Summit hops in this one to deliver a punch.
It's only 4.3% as well,
It's 4.3%.
so less than the saison.
It has got that lovely,
Yeah, I do like that dry finish
yeah.
at the end of it. Yeah, that's I have to admit the carbonation and the head on this beer is brilliant.
It's beautiful, and it's lasting as well down the glass. So it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. I have to admit, the only thing I would say, it doesn't feel that much. Doesn't feel American. It feels more like an English pale ale than an American one to me. Because that malt's coming through.
Yeah, what it feels like to me is it feels like an English regional brewery trying to do an American pale ale.
But doing it well.
Yeah.
Doing it well, because we've criticised regional brewers for doing it badly before.
Yeah.
This is a good example, but for me it's more of an English pale ale than an American pale ale. Because it's less of the hops and more of the malt coming through.
That's almost beer eating itself there then, isn't it? That the Americans have copied the English, who are now trying to copy the Americans, and now the Irish are copying the English American English style.
Exactly. Steve will write that all in the show notes for you to follow. There's a little Venn diagram for it.
But it's very enjoyable.
Very drinkable, and you start. I think again, as it starts to warm up a little bit, you start to get more of the fruit flavours as well.
Yeah. So this is one of their core beers, and if you are so inclined, this week is St Patrick's Day. And Metalman are actually going to be pouring their beers at a number of locations around the UK. The full list is in the show notes, but the places where you can specifically find Metalman this weekend are at the Tate Modern in London, the Rake in London, Howl at the Moon in London, 6 Yard Box also in London, the London Beer Lab in London, and Mason and Company in London. Outside of London, 6 Degrees North in Edinburgh.
So we go from London to Scotland.
And the Chapter Festival, which I believe is in Sheffield. Or Wales. It wasn't entirely clear on the email. So it'll be one of those things. But the full list is on our website. Also, there's a series of Irish beer tap takeovers that Island Craft Beers are involved in this weekend. Every Brewdog is going to have a selection of Ireland.
Does that include the one at Camden then?
It does include the one in Camden.
So
yeah.
I can try and persuade my mum and dad to go into a Brewdog Camden before we hit the Holloway Road and drink copious amounts of Guinness.
You probably can, yeah. I would, having spoken about your dad and his preference for spending Spoons vouchers, I would absolutely love to see his face
when he sees the price
as well. When he sees the prices in Brewdog, yeah, because that will be a picture, I imagine. But make sure drink something other than Guinness this St Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
I'm sure it's not.
It's not easy because down the Holloway Road, and I said this to the guys when we were over at the Alltech Festival, but it is Guinness. That's it. There's not even like the options of a Murphy's or a Caffrey's these days. It's Guinness. Oh no, there is a variety. You can have Guinness cold or extra cold or normal, which I found out is actually just the same Guinness. It's just chilled.
Yeah, it's just cold
at a different level.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if you can get a chance to get to even just the Brewdogs, because you're going to get a good selection and the Irish beers as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And
celebrate St Patrick's Day.
Absolutely, and if you are heading to the Tate Modern in London, Grania from Metalman is going to be there as well. So she's actually going to be hosting that tap takeover.
Oh, right,
so if you wanted to meet
stunning views from up there,
the person behind Metalman, that's where to get.
Stunning views. If you get a clear night from the Tate Modern with the glass front on the 7th floor where the bar is, looking out. If you can get rid of all the students nicking all the electricity and Wi-Fi, then it's fantastic looking over the Thames from there.
Cool. Well, there's a recommendation and a half. Just go for the beers and enjoy the view.
Exactly. Views of London, St Paul's and the Thames.
Absolutely. For more information about Metalman, you can check them out at metalmanbrewing.com. They're on Facebook at Metalman Brewing, Twitter at Metalman Brewing, all of the normal social medias. Give them a check. And if you see the beers, give them a go. I mean, we've enjoyed these two. We've drunk this time around.
And if you try any others, let us know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's Steve drinking in the background.
Until next time.
Yeah. Cheers.